Hi, welcome back to This and That, where starting yesterday we did the first episode of the Lords of War about China. Tonight the episode is going to be about North Korea. But as I'm going to do each night in these videos is I'm going to read the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is the declaration now. Whereas recognition of the inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Whereas disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in barbarous acts which have outraged the consciousness of mankind, and the advent of a world in which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech and belief and freedom from fear and want has been proclaimed by the highest aspiration of the common people. Now, I have read a lot about North Korea in the last hours, and in every case, it doesn't matter what outlet was putting out the article, it said that North Korea is the most severe country in the world for the suppression of human rights. Just an example, they used COVID-19 as an excuse to shut down the borders and even not let the people that lived there, that were born there, move any place outside of their own area. In fact, they even said that if one of those persons was caught any place close to the border, they had shoot to kill orders. I mean, if anybody's watching from a relatively free country, can you even imagine that you walk close to your border and you'd be killed? This is what the people in North Korea are going through right now. It's really, really terrible. They've enacted so many rules against. Oh yeah, one very interesting thing that I read today that also just blew me away is that you can't buy a telephone, a television, a radio, all these different things that isn't sanctioned by the government. If you're caught with a telephone that isn't on that list, you can actually be executed. That's one of the options. You can be in prison for many years. I forgot, hard labor is that's the nicer option, but you can actually be executed for that. I mean, hello, is anybody home over there? Anyway, yeah, they consider it, I think they said, if I remember correctly, they called it anti-socialist behavior if you have a phone that isn't on their list. I mean, hello? Compared to the Chinese, let's say the Chinese compared to the North Koreans, the Chinese are like it's not what I want to say. Some like a nice person and a nice culture. The North Korean way of thinking, and they don't even let journalists into the country without grilling them for days. They'll grill these people for days before they can even go in and do anything and they of course don't let them go into any areas other than the approved areas, because then they might see something that is maybe being done illegally, like certain weapon tests. I'm not sure exactly why, but let's just put it that way, that they're controlling every aspect. The thing that really blew me away that I read today, though, was that when the COVID-19 virus hit, and even though they claimed that they had no cases of it, which is definitely not true, there were other people that got the message out that there were a lot of cases, but as an excuse, they shut down the borders, which means They have very, very poor food production within the country. They count on China for all of their food. Well, they shut down the borders, so guess what happened then? A lot of people starved to death. People actually starved to death. And other people got very, very ill. They had no food to eat. They must have gone out and picked plants from the land, I'm not sure what, but. And then they had a drought and some flooding, I think it was. Then they even closed the whole borders even more. It's an impossible life for North Koreans. That's why so many people try to defect. But a lot of them that try to defect are getting shot at the border. It's really a no-win situation for the North Korean citizenry. It's very similar in many ways to China in terms of it being totalitarian, where they're controlling everything. Everything has to go according to the state view of how things can go, but nothing else is allowed, and usually the punishment is very bad. The same thing goes for Russia. The United States is a lot more free on the surface, but I'll talk about that in a couple of days. But North Korea, China, and Russia are all the same there. It's totalitarian, and whatever the government says is gospel. Anyway, I don't have much more to say than how abhorrent the behavior of the North Korean government is. It all started with the father. He did a lot of the rules that, like, just one more point. If you don't, this is what makes me laugh. If you don't have the right accent, meaning that you're not speaking the officially allowed language, the allowed accent, if you're not, they can even, if you speak South Korean, even refer to they call it the puppet language, by the way. But if you speak any South Korean there, they can execute you. If you have the wrong accent, just a little bit off from it is almost funny, but it's also sad at the same time. It's like, what happens if you happen to live outside and you didn't speak this perfect thing? And are you going to get killed because you went outside for a while? When I came from the United States, after I lived in Switzerland for a while, I went over to the United States, and they said, "What country are you from?" Because I took up a little bit of an accent, but I didn't get shot because of it. But the people in North Korea can actually get shot because their accent isn't right. I'll end this on the note that I hope not only that people will stand against the North Korea and any other this kind of government, but also to really appreciate if you follow and like me and press the like button and follow me, please. I can use it. Thank you very much, and good night or good morning. And I hope you are living in a country that is not one of those four that, well, I shouldn't say the fourth one because too many people will get upset, but I hope you're not living in Russia, nor in China, nor in North Korea. Thank you, and goodbye.